Now, for more on President's visit to Benue State, AgricTech expert and public affairs analyst Orngu joins me on the news. Good to have you join us.
Good to have you, my sister. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I want to ask you what you make of the president's speech, especially because he didn't just take a security dimension to this, he also talked about the agriculture dimension to this.
All right, thank you very much. First of all, I want to appreciate Mr. President for making the visit to Benue to sympathize with the state over the deaths, particularly the most recent that happened at Yerewata. His visit heartwarming, and it brought in a lot of so-called, it shows concern, it shows leadership on his side. And he mentioned particularly the issue of food security. Over time, these crises, not crisis now, our paramount ruler rightly mentioned that this is a genocide that Benue people are facing, have resulted into issues of food insecurity. Because Benue people are agrarian people, they are farmers, as it were. The people cannot go to their farms. And as such, there are cases of food shortage. And the president was point blank to say, look, if these issues are not resolved, we will not talk about food sovereignty, we will not talk about food security. So the issues, this crisis, the criminals must be fished out, and farmers must be allowed to go back to their farms so that we will not have issues of food insecurity or food shortages or hunger, as it were. So the visit is commendable, and the timelines he gave, the instructions, very pointed instructions to security chiefs to sit up. The IGP, he mentioned that he had not heard of any arrest. He asked them to work on the intelligence. And I want to use this opportunity to commend the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa. The general was in the state from Monday of this week, and it was until yesterday that the president came that he left. He had his own personal town hall meetings before that of the president, where he met with chiefs from the intermediate
and we know that there were suggestions for the putting together of vigilante youth to become a vigilante group at that meeting as well. But I wanted to talk to you about something specific that the president talked about, which is the idea of ranching, and he has directed the Minister of Livestock. He said to at least ensure that that becomes a reality. But that was, one of the issues that generated a lot of controversy when Governor Samuel Ortom was there. What do you make of the idea of ranching? Would that be a solution or one of the solutions to this crisis?
Yes, ranching is a solution to this crisis because ranching is a global best practice for cattle rearing anywhere in the world. In Brazil, in America, people build ranches for their cows. And our stand as a people is that government has no business, because farmers, herders, as it were, are private individuals. And government has no business saying, okay, I'll go and create ranches for them. The anti or open grazing prohibition law that people say is anti-open grazing or anti-grazing law is actually an open grazing prohibition law, as it were. States that if you have your money, come to Benue State, we have land. The president actually said that I should be given land so that he will build his own ranch. So ranching is our best practices. So if herders with these heads of cow bring their money, they will be given land for them to raise and set up their ranches. So it's a welcome development by Mr. President that ranches should be built, because there are issues of population explosion, expansion here and there. So it is no longer sustainable that you are roaming about in the bush with your cattle. It is no longer sustainable. It was then that we had open lands that we could even talk about.
I have very limited time left, Mr. Anngu. I wanted to also ask you about the committee that's to be set up and what your agenda would be for that committee. What is the expectation of the people of Benue State in terms of that committee?
Yeah, thank you. That committee, like I said, the president has shown great leadership. That committee should be to rebuild, restore hope of the people. The committee should come up with very clear directive on how these broken communities can be rebuilt. They should come out with a program on how those that have been affected by this crisis, their mental health, how can they be given counseling so that their minds can be gotten back. Like the woman that lost 5 of her children and her mother. I'm imagining what is going on in her mind now. She will need counseling. So the committee should get to work and see that these communities are rebuilt. The people that have been affected, the persons that have been directly affected by this are also given rehabilitation, medically, psychologically, how they can be fixed. So those are my thoughts on that committee. There should be cohesion. The president called for unity, and the president directly said, look, let's get prosperity out of this tragedy. So out of this tragedy, we are hoping that prosperity will come out of it. We don't want to sit down and lament over what has happened, but the way forward has been charted by Mr. President and is highly commendable.
Absolutely. He repeated that line over and over again, bringing economic prosperity out of the tragedy. Thank you so much for your time. AgricTech expert and public affairs analyst, Anngu.
Thank you very much. It's good to be on your station. Thank you.